All right, time to take another look at gold. It's getting close to that that first breakout level again, something that could possibly trigger a short squeeze and knock the cartel out of those short positions. We had a chance to do that back here. Just a couple of problems. First off, this was occurring a little bit late in the daily cycle. I've noted this many times in the past that breakouts that occur late in a daily cycle don't usually produce follow-through. And then the other big problem was that the cartel managed to stop that momentum pretty quickly. What we really needed was on this day right here, we needed another big move up that would have triggered the short squeeze. And then I think we would have been off to the races. But the cartel stopped this immediately, put the brakes on the move. And then a couple of things happened here. So let me go over to the chart of the dollar. All right, so this is what I think happened. We were getting our bounce out of our daily cycle low, and that bounce was trying to roll over and left translate. But I think the banking system, big money, smart money, they recognize that this intermediate cycle is trying to roll over, and they want to get out at the top. So this is, as I've pointed out in the past, this is very often how markets top and bottom. Larger, intermediate, and multi-year trends change in this fashion. When big money, smart money recognizes a major trend change is about to happen, they will manufacture, in this case, a breakout to the upside. That gets retail traders, it gets a lot of hedge funds. They want to buy this breakout, and that allows this big institutional money to sell their long positions into the breakout. Then you get a reversal, and then back down it goes. So at this point here, the gold was still hanging in very nicely. But once we got this big move up, these 2 days here and then this third day, that opened the door for the cartel to attack gold. Let me go back to the gold chart. All right, so that opened the door for this attack, this big attack that drove gold back below this resistance zone, and ultimately even back below 1800, although they were not able to hold it below 1800 for very long. And then we end up with a slightly short daily cycle low. We're coming out of that daily cycle low now. It's now early in the daily cycle, and we're nearing that resistance zone again. But this time, instead of doing it 20 plus days into the daily cycle, we're only on a day 9, I think this is. So we're approaching this resistance again, but we're doing it early in the daily cycle. We need to get through this resistance zone quickly. I think we need to, in order to trigger the short squeeze, I think we've not only got to get through this quickly, but we need to probably get through this by, let's say, day 20. So I'm going to say we got 2 weeks. Gold needs to break through this within 2 weeks, and preferably we'll get a big recognition day, a really strong move that just shatters this resistance zone right here. That would create our first higher intermediate high, and I think at that point it becomes hopeless for the cartel. I don't think they will be able to hold the manipulation any longer, and they're going to have to start covering those shorts. And at that point, I think gold has a real chance of making a run to the all-time highs, and I don't think we're going to break out on this intermediate cycle. We're just getting a little bit too late, but we could come up and test those all-time highs. Let me widen the chart just a bit. All right, so I'm assuming that this is kind of a weird intermediate cycle low. So I think we're about 7 weeks into this intermediate cycle. So we're kind of wasting too many weeks of this intermediate cycle to really have much realistic chance of a breakout above this. But it's not out of the question that we could maybe retest this if we can get a strong breakout above this intermediate high and start a short squeeze on the cartel. We can maybe test that, and then at that point I think they've got to cover the shorts, get out of the way, and then they'll probably try and take it back down at this resistance level, because this is going to be, and if we're late in the intermediate cycle, which we will be, then this would be a spot where they could try and regain control of the market, because you're going to get a lot of natural selling at this point anyway. But if we can break through this and then break through this quickly, like I said, within the next 2 weeks, I think there's an opportunity for gold to maybe test this intermediate or this all-time high during this intermediate cycle. And we might even get a slight breakout above that, that then gets turned back down like happened in the dollar. That would be one thing that I would be wary of. If we do get a really powerful move and a short squeeze begins and the cartel is forced to cover, I think I would sell into any breakout that occurs above this top, as it would almost certainly be another false breakout, just like we had a false breakout in the dollar recently. So as I said, I'm getting more and more constructive on gold. I think the handle of this cup and handle pattern is poised to come to an end, and we're getting ready to make a run to test these all-time highs. But I don't think we're going to break out to a sustained higher high anyway. We may make a higher high, but I don't think it's going to be a sustained higher high. And then we might have to have a move down into that 8-year cycle low that once that retest occurs here. So getting very constructive on gold, but I want to be a little bit cautious. If we do get a breakout here, and if we do test these all-time highs, I want to temper. I think traders should temper their enthusiasm, as it will almost certainly be a false breakout. But there's a lot of potential between here and there. So I want to be long. I definitely want to have as much physical silver as possible. And, I even made a small trade for subscribers yesterday. You can, if you subscribe to the service, you can see what that trade was, other than just physical silver. But things are looking up in the metal sector, I think, and I think we've got a real opportunity here to, at the very least, make a higher intermediate high and confirm that we are coming to the end of this difficult, frustrating handle part of this massive cup and handle basing pattern.